What's up, guys? Back with another patch from scratch. Just wanted to do this little series here for the beginners. I know it's tough at first trying to figure out how all this stuff works and what kind of modules you need and how to build a system and all these questions that you have to research and find on the internet, and it eventually gets kind of overwhelming. So I want to start this series because I really wish there was more of these when I first started building my system of how to even get anything rhythmic or musical out of a system. So basically we're just going to dive in here and we're going to build a patch kind of similar to what's going on right now, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, before we start, just want to let you know I'm kind of new to this too, so I wanted to do this series to learn along with everyone. If you got any kind of questions or comments, or anybody, any kind of advice, anything, throw it in the comments. Let me know if anything I said was wrong, or any ideas or whatever. Just let me know. All right, so we're going to start off by first setting up kind of a voice first, and then from there I'll start adding drums and different things to it. So first we're going to start off with Pamela's new workout right here. Pamela's new workout is a clock. It's an LFO. It does basically tons of things, but for our purpose here, we're going to be using as a clock and maybe some LFOs. So to start off, it's going to be at 120 beats per minute. Might adjust the timing, we'll figure it out as we go. But basically, you start a voice, you're going to want to send the clock out, and that clock out is going to go into the clock of a sequencer. I got this sequencer here. It's the Make Noise Renee 2. And with the sequencer, it's going to have CV output. So I can basically adjust the notes here, and I can go in here and there's scales. I can put whatever scale I want. Right here is like a C major scale. And it also puts out gates and, like I said, CV. So I'm able to sequence my Dixie 2 Plus here. You go out from the XCV, because it's the X clock, XCV. We're going to go to the 1 volt per octave. So from the 1 volt per octave, you're going to go out. I'm going to go out with the sine wave. It's going to be a nice, smooth. Actually, I'm going to use a different wave just so I can use a filter here and kind of describe what a basic synth voice is. A basic synth voice is going to be like a module going through a filter, a VCA, and it's going to be sequenced by a sequencer, and we can add some effects and stuff to it. But it's just very basic from the start. So let's do a saw wave. And that's going to go in my filter. And from my filter, I have 8 choices here, basically, of what kind of filter I want to use. So let's just go with this one. And that's going to go into my VCA. So VCA is basically, how I could describe it, is a volume controller. And this volume controller also has ability to be automated also. So a VCA also can basically modulate modulation. So if I put like an LFO in the input here, and I put it out into my mixer, I could actually then take another LFO into the CV, and I could set how much of that LFO I want with another LFO. Like I said, I'm kind of new to this stuff, so I've watched a ton of videos on LFOs and VCAs and how to use them, and I'm still learning. So that's kind of what I've gotten out of it, that I can modulate modulation with it. And on top of that, it's like a volume controller. So just straight into out of the VCA then, into my input. And you're not hearing anything because I got to turn up the level here. So the sequencer now, C major, that's what you're hearing, but it sounds like just continuous notes, right? So what we're going to have to do is take the gate out, the gate from my sequencer, I'm going to go into an envelope generator. This is the ZR quadruple envelope generator. And it's going to go into the trigger input. So when I go into the trigger input, I'm going to take the output, and that's going to go in the CV, the VCA I was talking about. So I'm going to turn this back down. It's going to go in the CV input. And now every time this gate fires out of this sequencer, it's going to fire off my envelope. You'll be able to see on the screen there. So I have an envelope going there. See that? That's going to go in here. So when I lower this level of the VCA, then the envelope is then modulating the volume of it. See, if I turn up the level, it just sounds kind of like continuous. But if I do this, turn down the level, sounds a little better. And I can also lower the voltage of this envelope here. So I like to put it around like 5 volts usually. Sounds good. So I'm actually going to go to the clock. And I'm going to speed up this output 1. I want more of kind of like a clicky, like fast kind of like envelope here. So I can switch to any of these shapes. That's what's so cool about the ZR is like there's tons of shapes and different sounds you can do. What I could do actually is go out of this VCA and then go into Mimiphone, which is a delay. And watch, as soon as I turn this knob, it's just, oh, so good. So Mimiphone, how do I describe it? It's basically a delay with reverb. It's kind of got a filter on it. You can add more reverb to it, or it kind of smears the delays then. I got ping pong effects. I like that, so I'm going to keep it like that. Now what I want to do is take one of these clock outs, and I'm going to send that to the clock input of the Mimiphone, so these delays then are in time. Alright, so let's now add like a kick drum. So I have the noise engineering, the Simulus Tiritas alter, and what I'm able to do then, we're going to clock the second channel on my Renee. We're going to make this really basic. I'm not going to make it like, you know, any different kind of patterns or anything, just really straightforward. So I'm going to clock the Y channel. And then same thing on this one. I have a CV output. I'm going to throw that in the pitch there. And then the gate out, I'm going to go into the trigger of the kick drum. Now I got to plug this into my mixer here. Let me go through a VCA first. Get a little rhythm going. just fiddle around here on the controls, get a cool sound going. So I'm going to speed up that clock. I like it where it was actually. Just mess around with the filter, open and close it. So we could do something like send an LFO to that to open and close it for us. What I like to do is this is a DAW right here. I can go do the B output. Make this an LFO. It's like a looping envelope. Turns it into an LFO. We're gonna molt that with one of these babies right here. All these are is basically like a splitter, so I can take signals and split them into five different outputs. What I'm going to do now is go into the filter. I can modulate the opening and closing of it. Cool. I'm going to take that same LFO that I malted and let's mess with this kick drum here. See what sounds cool. So just got a basic voice going, little drum pattern. I think I'm just gonna leave it here. So let's just mess around with it. Let's take that output there. I ain't done yet. And let's put that into clouds. And then I'll be done. I like that. Alright guys, gonna leave it off there. Thanks for watching. Any questions, comments, concerns, throw them in the comments. Let me know what's up. Everyone, take it easy.